Welcome to Sports Leadership Topic 2D Part 1, where we talk about shared leadership. Just a quick revisit of our definition. Remember that leadership is an influence relationship among leaders and followers who intend real changes and outcomes that reflect their shared purposes. So this definition actually works very well for shared leadership. I've got a Bono quote here where he says, "I would be terrified to be on my own as a solo singer. I surround myself with a band, a family of very spunky kids, and a wife who's smarter than anyone. You're only as good as the arguments you get," which is really a very interesting idea. So maybe the reason the band hasn't split up is that, even though I'm only 1/4 of you two, I'm more than I could be if I was one whole of something else. And that tends to be the philosophy behind shared leadership. So what shared leadership is. Now I've got a few definitions here, and I'm sorry about the density on this slide, but we'll talk through them as we go. Pearson Conger suggests that a good definition for shared leadership is a dynamic, interactive influence process amongst individuals in groups for which the objective is to lead one another to the achievement of group or organisational goals, or both. So again, interaction, influence, where people are very level. So there are no leaders or followers. There's all the individuals in together, and they're leading one another. So we're talking about acts of leadership in a group or organisational goals. This one by Allen, Morton and Lee, the co-creation of an environment by a group of individuals, organisations and communities with the intent. So again, we've got intention to accomplish a common vision and collaborative goals. So here they're saying that these goals haven't been imposed, they've actually been created collaboratively within the group. I've put those two definitions together to create one that I use myself when I'm thinking about shared leadership, a dynamic, interactive, influence group leadership process that achieves a common group vision and collaborative group goals. And shared leadership has got very many names. Sometimes it's simply known as the partnership model, but it's called collaborative culture, effective leadership, partnership as leadership, distributed leadership, community of leaders, or the partnership model, as I've said. Okay, so if we compare universalistic style, so that's the hero or great man leadership and tray leadership, with the idea of shared leadership, which is a transformational style, where somebody's authority comes from or how they display it. For universalistic leadership is based on the formal position they hold. In shared leadership, it's the quality of how well they work with others that gives them their authority. With universalistic styles, it's evaluated by the leader solving problems or not solving problems. In shared leadership, it is about people working really well together. The responsibility in universalistic leadership is for the leader. The leader has to provide the solutions and the answers. In shared leadership, everybody works together, and it tends to be focused more on process, on shared responsibility and shared fulfillment. Power and equality in universalistic leadership, there's very distinct differences between leaders and followers. In a shared leadership model, there's total interdependence. If you remember Stephen Covey's model, everybody is active as participants in the whole leadership process. With a shared leadership model with communication and universalistic leadership, it's often very formal. With shared leadership models, that communication is absolutely essential, and that the communication focuses on dialogue. And then for the last one, with processes, for universalistic leadership, it's often secret squirrel and secret agendas. With shared leadership, it's about democracy, honesty and shared ethics. There's common good, and it's never about the self, it's about what's best for the organisation.